Welcome everyone to No Limits, a first of its kind, global, all-women poker tournament. I am Erin Leiden, and I have the honor of leading Poker Powher, an organization with the mission to teach 1 million women how to flip the table and play this game. Along with our partner, World College Poker, we are thrilled to support this one-of-a-kind event powered by PokerStars.net in celebration of Women's History Month. Wednesday was Equal Pay Day in America. As many of you know, women across industries and demographics are paid less than men. It's 82 cents for white women on average, 63 cents for Black women, and 55 cents for Latinas. That's not okay. And that's just the beginning. There are a staggering number of stats I can point to that highlight inequality and missed opportunities for women of all ages, especially in male-dominated fields such as gaming, finance, and tech. So here's another stat. 100 million people play poker. Less than 10% of them are women. Let that sink in. 10%. That's also not okay. The women sitting in front of us today are truly barrier breakers, innovators, and game changers. We look to them to fast forward change across gaming and to create an inclusive culture for everyone. And that's what Poker Powher is doing for our game. We began just over a year ago as a launchpad for girls and women to learn poker and to stack the skills needed for success in school and business and life. We ensure that all who identify as female can take a seat with us in an inclusive, interactive, and fun virtual environment. Our community welcomes teenagers and college women, working women, moms, executives, and even a few really cool grandmas. And we have clubs across 34 states in America and 10 countries. We offer a proprietary curriculum of 12 bite-sized, digestible lessons. And we host corporate events and charity events, and we offer practice games for our community every day. And importantly, because we are all about empowerment, we don't gamble or play for real money in our games. Our poker pots are filled with skills like strategic thinking and money management and risk assessment, skills that are much more valuable to win. We are changing the perception of poker from smoky basements and card rooms to what it should be, a mind sport, just like chess or Go or backgammon, because we know that the skills and strategies learned through this game give players an advantage when they negotiate, in their decision-making, and in reading the room. And today, I am sure we will see many skilled bluffers at the table. We have players of all levels, from beginner to pro, and I commend the courage of the novice players who are sitting at this very unfamiliar table. Sitting down for that first hand can be really intimidating. Trust me, I know. And many women never ever take their seat. That also has to change. And it starts today with these hundreds of women who are brave and are showing that it's worth the risk to take the effort. So what's the problem in poker? Why don't more women play this game? I ask that question to prospective players every day, and I've heard quite a few reasons. Let me quickly share just 3 of them because I think they will resonate. The first is that women aren't invited to the table. It's that simple. No one ever asked us to take our seat. And if you don't learn poker as a child from your dad or your uncle, and you don't learn while you're in university, you likely have missed the opportunity to play this game, and you probably won't ever think about it again. Few women walk in and sit down anywhere without an invitation, including the poker table. The second reason is trepidation. Women are hesitant because they haven't learned the rules. Fear of appearing incompetent holds us back from the poker table and from many other things, such as applying for a new job, negotiating our first salary, or having a tough conversation with a manager. We know that some women tend to be more risk averse, especially in situations where they perceive themselves to lack expertise or experience. That fear, coupled with the feeling of being unwelcomed, of being harassed and belittled, keeps many of us from taking our seat. And as a side note, that's why Vanessa Kade's win this past week was so satisfying to so many of us in the industry. The sweetest revenge is her $1.5 million paycheck. Vanessa is stopping by the broadcast in a bit, and she can tell us more about her historical win. And the third reason, women don't see poker as a solution to anything. So women need to understand the why poker matters. Why should you take your very limited free time and learn to play this game, especially if you never plan to sit in a real casino? And trust me, at Poker Powher, we're not trying to turn you into a poker pro. But here's the why. And if you remember nothing else from today, remember this about Poker Powher. Do you want to negotiate better? Play poker. Do you want to improve your decision making? Play poker. Do you want to build confidence and maybe even change the world? Play poker. What we are doing at Poker Powher is giving women a path forward to be fearless. Too many girls and women don't have the benefit of learning the skills taught through this game. Skills that with a bit of practice can truly make you formidable. So why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want to sit confidently alongside these powerhouse women today? So if you're intrigued, and I hope you are, please visit our pokerpower.com website and sign up for free classes so you too can take your seat at the table. And I hope today's tourney inspires you to think more about the need for equality and inclusiveness across gaming as we celebrate Women's History Month. The first step to fixing the problem is talking about the problem. And with our steadfast partner, World College Poker, this tournament showcases why women need to be included at every table, in gaming, especially in poker, in the classroom, the meeting room, and all the way to the boardroom. And with that, one last shout out to PokerStars.net for powering the tournament, to Alec Rome, our mission control, to Melanie and Clayton for commentating the event, and to our special guest, Vanessa Kade and Xuan Liu. And the biggest thanks of all to Craig and Chadwick at World College Poker. If you are a college student, you need to check out their free-to-play tournaments. It's an amazing opportunity to hone your skills. And lastly, our Poker Powher team and World College Poker put in countless hours to orchestrate this one-of-a-kind event. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for playing. Let's keep flipping the table, taking our seat, and creating what ought to be. Good luck, ladies.
Welcome everybody to what is a first of its kind event with World College Poker, Poker Powher, and PokerStars.net. I'm Alec Rome along with Melanie Weisner and Clayton Fletcher, who are going to join me in a bit to talk to, I can't believe, blockbuster guest, A-lister now in the poker world, $1.5 million winner of the Sunday Millions, Vanessa Kade. That'll be in a little bit. Right now, we're almost down the last three tables, but I do want to tell you a little bit about basically what this tournament is, how it came to be, all of those sort of things. First off, this is basically a brainchild of the team at Poker Powher, the lovely team at Poker Powher, and in collaboration with World College Poker, and of course powered by PokerStars.net. World College Poker is proud to host this event with Poker Powher. We were created to give the players of tomorrow a platform to strut their stuff and cement their name in poker history alongside the greats like Johnny Chan, Dora Brunson, Helmuth, Negreanu, Ivy, and of course Shahade, Harmon. We can name all the women's players, and we might even see a future women's star playing today. The women's event is unique to World College Poker as it's allowing women of all ages to compete and not just college students. We are so proud to serve as a platform to encourage women of all ages to learn and enjoy the great game of poker. After this event, too, we're not done at World College Poker. We will have a College World Championship this July for students across the globe. We're very excited for that, and we're very excited to see what women might join and have a chance to win the College World Championship. But today, it's about women of all ages across the globe, Clayton and Melanie, and we're just so excited to have you guys here to help us recap and bring the commentary, the context to this moment.
Well, it's a pleasure, Alec. It's such an honor to have been chosen to participate in this wonderful event. It's a good time, right? I mean, we've got the it's International Women's History Month. We've got so many women who joined this event, and of course Melanie and I have known each other for a long time. She's wonderful, and she's a big supporter of Poker Powher. So good times all around. Melanie, what do you think of that video we watched?
I think it is inspirational and true and really a call to action, I think, for women's change in the workplace. And as it might not be the first thing people think about, but women playing poker is an incredible game, as you know, as people who have studied the game deeply, like us know, that provides you a framework to make incredibly powerful decisions. It's a decision-making framework, which I use outside of poker all the time. It influences the way I see the world, the way I interact with other people, and I am so much better for it. I'm able to overcome some of my cognitive biases. I'm able to act rationally in all sorts of situations. I'm able to think probabilistically, which is really innately difficult for people. So I think poker provides a really interesting decision-making framework to equip women to make better decisions throughout any phase of their lives, business, personal life, anything. So I think this may finally be the thing that gets women to the poker table and also increases and builds on their decision-making skills for the rest of the world.
Yeah, very well said, Melanie. As we are down to less than 30 players in this tournament, and just in a little while, we're going to show you the final two tables. I have certain cognitive biases of my own watching these players play, and just thinking about the prizes that are up for grabs. No one paid a dime to enter this tournament. It's an absolute free roll, and we have three world champions, main event winners from the World Series of Poker that have all donated an hour of their time as poker coaches for people who make our final table today. So there are some great prizes and just good vibes all around for Women's History Month.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk plenty about those prizes here too, as we are basically down to three. It looks like they've split into three tables of 8 now, and we're going to keep at least one table on the screen for you. But like I said, I mean, incredible that we've had not one, not two, but 3 main event champions willing to donate their time to some of the final 9 players in this tournament. I'm so thankful. Joe Cotta, Chris Moneymaker, and am I blanking on the other one? Greg Raymer. There we go. Gosh.
Greg Raymer, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's incredible, and we're so thankful that they're willing to donate their time to such an important subsection of our poker community.
Absolutely. It's been something that's been publicized quite a bit over the years, Melanie, with poker players when they do the math, basically the main event, for example, they get, X number of thousands of players, and such a tiny percentage are women. And so a big part of the mission of Poker Powher is to try to bump that number up a little bit. And of course, this tournament today, everyone who entered is a woman. So we're excited to just be bringing this to everyone today here on our different platforms. So as Alec mentioned, we're down to 24 players, 3 tables, 8 players each. It's a turbo format, as one might expect from a free roll.
Right.
You don't want your free rolls to last all day. So the action has been fast and loose. We started with how many players was it, Alec? I had
over
that number
300. Yes, it was somewhere 321 was the amount.
Yeah, and so now we're down to 24. So it's a pretty impressive accomplishment, just to get this far. There were some very well-known and excellent poker players in this tournament. And we had some bounties that were given away as well. Let's see. So Juan was knocked out, and she's a spokesperson from Poker Powher, as well as an incredibly accomplished player herself. And the player who knocked her out and won a bounty for it is named Charisma, Carisma. I don't know if any of these players are still in the tournament, but they've already won something for their efforts. Also, Jen Shahade, who is one of my good friends, and also Melanie, one of your fellow redheads, who was knocked out, eliminated by a great name, QD Pie 91. So QD Pie 91 bested Jen Shahade and knocked her out. Jen was off to quite a big chip lead early on in this event, but as we know, with any turbo, anything is possible. So that's what happened there.
What do you guys have?
Alec, do we know what the prizes were for the bounties? I'm not sure if I have that in front of me.
Well, Jen Shahade was a 1-hour Zoom lesson of, they got an option, chess or poker. Would you rather learn chess or poker? They're kind of intermixing ever since the Queen's Gambit. It seems like the poker world kind of took liking to the chess world. Chess world was like, okay, hey, poker world, like, all right, we see you, sort of thing. And Jennifer Shahade is just a perfect example of somebody that's reaching across both those communities, and very happy that somebody's going to get a chance to talk with her for an hour on either of those topics.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one I would pick. I mean, I enjoy chess, I enjoy poker, and Jen is pretty much an expert in both. Melanie, have you ever?
I would pick chess, and here's why.
Okay.
I think that if I'm already an expert at one game, someone that's an expert in both that game and a separate game is the perfect teacher to teach you a new game. I don't think you're going to find, if you're a poker player, you're not going to find a better chess coach for you than Jen Shahade. That's my thought.
Deductive reasoning that Melanie was mentioning earlier coming into play there. The GTO play is to have Jen teach you chess.
Conversely, if you're a poker player, if you're a chess player and you're just messing around in this tournament and you win, then I would pick poker, because who's going to speak your language better, right? As a poker coach. So it works for both sides.
Yeah, really good point there, Melanie. And Jen does have the ability to speak both languages, if you will. She's a 2-time U.S. women's chess champion, which is no small feat. I can't help but watch the Queen's. But think of her when I watch the Queen's Gambit.
Totally.
It's almost like it was, her life story, but 50 years later. 50
I just
years
picture
earlier,
her being like, okay, so this middle game move is exactly like reshoving ace jack offsuit on the cutoff. Like, this is how you think of Like, I get that.
Yeah, she can certainly find those parallels. Yeah, for sure. We have quite a few chess pros or former chess champions that have sort of gravitated to poker. I think it's kind of fun for them to have a little more luck in the game once in a while, whereas chess feels to me like it's all skill.
I'm happy there's luck, Clayton. I really am. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be around in this game. Thank goodness that there's some sort of luck involved. My goodness.
Yeah. If it weren't for luck, I'd lose every one.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir.
So Melanie, do you play a lot of online poker these days? You know, with the pandemic times and everything. Have you been online or have you been in the casinos?
I dabble. I dabble and play online some. And I do a lot of coaching. So with everybody kind of being home confined and wanting to work on their online game, a lot of people have been looking for learning resources. And so I've been doing a lot more coaching this year than I ever have been before. So I have a lot of time taken up with the coaching, Poker Powher. I do play online when I can, but not full time. How about you?
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit online, but we're definitely going to be able to get deep into your coaching skills today, as we will not be able to see the whole cards. This tournament is going to be shown cards down, so it's going to be up to Melanie to help us all figure out who has what and why they're betting how much. And so we'll definitely be picking your brain as we get down to the final couple of tables here. Alec, do we have an update? A lot of
X Factor talk.
Right.
It's going to be in poker. And when I analyze a hand for my students, I like to say something like, well, there's always the X factor. You never know. Maybe they played 9-3 because it's their birthday. Like, you never know what could possibly be an outlier factor. In a free roll tournament, anything goes. The X factor is always in play. So I think we're going to see some more wild things that's useful. And we have an all in here. It looks like.
Yeah, we have an open and then a shove. So let's see if Soul Searching wants to put it all in. No.
Folds and shows the sixes. I like it. I like the fold.
Yeah, that's a pretty disciplined fold there.
Mm-hmm. And the problem with those folds is that usually you've invested so much into the pot relative to your stack that you kind of want to take the gamble, but your opponent's range there, and that's for those of you guys who are new to poker, range is the term that we use for all the different cards someone could be playing. You don't just do the rounder style, I put him on this one hand, I put him on this one hand. Players can play multiple hands the same way. So, for example, in that spot we just saw, this player Nanutsa might have shoved something like ace king. They might have shoved something like aces, queens, kings, jacks, tens. They would play them all the same way. But that range of hands as a whole is crushing pocket sixes.
Yeah,
so I like the
shrivel up.
It's a shame that Soul Searching is getting kind of short. Not a lot of chips to play with, but I think the fold is pretty good.
I agree. I see a few very short stacks remaining in this tournament right now. I mean, the big blind is 25,000. So several players at this table are barely hanging on, trying to make it to our final table and be eligible for some of those amazing prizes that we mentioned. Here we have ace jack versus ace six.
Wow, and the ace jack is going to take it.
Yeah, with the unnecessary pair on the river, you were already ahead. Soul Searching. So maybe folding those sixes paid off because got the full double there. So it's a beautiful thing. So it looks like we have 7 players at this table. So there must be something like 21 players remaining in this tournament.
20.
20 left. All right. So we're almost at our final 2. It's very exciting. 3-handed to the flop, ace, trade, deuce, rainbow here. And a bet
pot size bet.
Yeah, big bet here from Ms. Mortimer. Takes it down. Yeah, it's going to be fast and loose, I think, from here to the end. So buckle up, everybody.
This is always the scariest part of a tournament. You get short, you have to put all your chips in the middle, and you have to win. And that's a scary feeling to kind of relinquish that control. And wow, twice in a row. Here we go.
Morgan,
and she's doing the right thing because the blinds are going to come around to her and kind of decimate her stack, which by the way means.
Hoops Turkey, I'm guessing a basketball fan there under the gun fold. And now the fold over to the short stack at our table. Nanutsa all in. Morgan getting a pretty good price here, but folds anyway. And Nanutsa stays alive.
Clayton, did you hear my question?
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Oh, no, I said I was saying that the stack would be decimated, but what do you think the word decimated means?
Oh, isn't it like divided by 10 or something like that?
Well, yeah, most people think it's destroyed, right? To just like demolish, they were decimated, but it actually means to reduce by 10%. So you still have 90 left. I learned that recently, which is, it's not as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, usually when people say decimated, they mean demolished or destroyed, but yeah.
Lost 90%.
Yeah.
But it's not actually.
Yeah, I studied Latin in high school, so definitely some of those words that have those kind of roots where you just you remember that DEC is always 10. Even though December is the 12th month, at one point it was the 10th month. So December decimated. True. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and October is, from the Latin for 8, and it's the 10th month. Everything's somewhere along the line, a couple of them got in there that didn't belong, and pushed everything back by 2. Another all-in and an all-in over the top. Our 2 short stacks are going to battle here, and it could be more action. Hoops Turkey thinking about it. No, heads up, ace-7 versus ace-10, and there's a 10 on the flop, and that'll seal it. And Nanutsa eliminated in 20th place. Good game.
GG.
Morgan's been making a great run. A couple shoves right in a row. Aggressive play. What you need to do, turn it on at this moment, especially when we're on this now 19 people. We're on a bubble to the final 2 tables.
And I wonder, now that Soul Searchin saw that that other player, Nanutsa, shove some kind of like suboptimal hands, I wonder if she's regretting her fold with the pocket 6s.
Yeah, the 6s look better. We've all been there, right, Melanie? Like, you're at the table and you think you make this great disciplined laydown, and then you realize your opponent is actually playing fast and loose, and you should have called.
Yeah, and that's what separates the good from the great. You realize that, and you have to have a tough mental game. You have to move on from that. If you get paralyzed, if you get stuck, it's the same with tennis. It's the same with any high competitive sport. If you keep living in the past moment, you can't give yourself a chance to win. So it's tough. But you gotta just change your evaluation of the player and move on from there. And when you can do that, then you're going to have a much better chance in these tournaments.
Yeah, it's absolutely a game of adjustments. And we've all seen the poker movies where you can figure out what somebody has based on whether or not he eats his Oreo cookie. But when you're playing online, you just really have to watch how your opponents play, because you're not picking up anything physical, are you?
Have you ever had a tell that was as reliable as the Oreo cookie one?
No. Have you?
Yeah, I have. I was playing in, I think it was the Commerce. I was playing a cash game, and I noticed this kind of character showing up, weeks in a row. And I was just kind of paying attention to how he was playing, because he was not doing very well, but he was very hard to read. He would always wear like a hoodie and sunglasses and like just so silent. And then I noticed on a few occasions that this guy, when he bet his small chips, he didn't have it. And it didn't matter if he bet $2,000 in small chips and had 300 back, he would fold. So I got enough information to kind of conclude this was reliable. And then I tested this out on a total stone cold bluff. I had ace high on a 4-spade board. So I had no flush, no pair, nothing. And I saw him take all of his small chips on the river. And I was like, it was like $1,500 and he had $250 back. And I was like, well, you've been watching this guy. Here's your chance. Go with your read. I went all in. He immediately folded, and I showed my hand.
Wow. That is wow. Little salt in the wound there, Melanie. Salt in the wound.
I don't know if he knew. You're not supposed to let another player know their tell, right? But I'm not sure he knew that I knew his tell. I don't even know if he knew he had that tell. So
there's a lot of times when people think they have a read on somebody, whether it's a tell or just kind of a general sense of how someone is playing. And I think that one of the differences between a great player and a good one, as we see this all in.
Brutal.
So that hurts. Good. That hurts. And now Soul Searching on the short stack here in the big blind. Wow, that does hurt. But anyway, to say what I was just to finish my thought from before, a lot of times we think we have a read on somebody, but how many people can actually pull the trigger like you did in that hand? To me, that's the difference between a great player and a good one, is actually using the information that you spent the last 6 hours gathering. Go ahead and make a play based on it, and see what happens.
Well, many, I guess it was, I can't remember when it was, me and some friends, I think we were in either Toronto or Vancouver, and we were there for a while playing online. We were playing a lot of spin and goes on Poker Stars. And there was a player who had a tell like that as well. When they made it a weird number, right? Like 24 or 27 or whatever, they were always raise folding every single time. And I was like talking to my friends about it. I was like, how is this possible? And they're like, they're just waiting for when you get the $1 million spin, and then they're going to do it when they have aces, and then you're going to lose, which I always thought was so funny.
That is great. Oh,
you don't realize, you don't realize that what you're doing is apparent to someone else. People, and that's a bias as well. You think you can, I forget the name of it, false perception bias or something like that. You believe you see what other people are doing more or better than they can see what you're doing. And that's why people end up this way with these tells that they're not really paying attention to, or just don't think that they're going to give anything away. Got to be really vigilant about that.
Pearls of wisdom there from Melanie Weisner, poker professional and coach. And we are now down to 18 players. So I believe in just a moment, we're going to be bringing you our feature table, and then we'll have our secondary feature table. Basically, more of the same, I expect. A lot of shoving and calling and flipping and seeing who makes the final 9.
So what it's going to come down to here really is who's willing to be the most aggressive. Because as you guys can see, there's almost 80K in the pot. And if you look at the stacks, 200, 500, 300, etc., winning one of these pots makes a huge difference. You have 200K, you add 80K to your stack, and that's 40% you're adding to your stack. So it's a big deal. And those who are willing to take these kinds of risks, and if you get called, you can still win too, don't forget. I think those are going to be the players who come out on top. Now, if you already have a big stack, if you have if you're Herzbaz or Miss Mortimer, then you can apply some more pressure without having to go all in. But it's going to be tough, I think, for women who are at this stage in the tournament waiting for a big hand to show up, because those are rare and you're not going to get it often enough. So you have to kind of take your chances in more speculative spots. It's just so important to win those chips.
Yeah, it's called a turbo for a reason, guys. We've got to get moving here. The blinds are going to catch up with you. We don't have time to wait for premium hands. And I think we've already seen that with Morgan U96, who was the short stack at this table when we first joined, and is now relatively healthy compared with some of the opponents that she's facing here.
I'm a fan of her play so far. And now I have a nice aggressive shove on the button. And this is great because you're going to get some better hands to fold when you make these shoves. It's just really hard for your opponents to call you with king high, even a low pair.
There's an old expression, desperate times call for desperate measures. And when you have 300,000, when there's already 80,000 in the pot and the average stack is up near 800,000, I'm guessing, that's what I would call a desperate situation.
Yeah. So, I mean, even our chip leader at our table isn't sitting that pretty. You think of a deep stack, you think of people with like 100 big blinds, 80 big blinds, and our chip leader at the table has 40. So that's enormous for a turbo.
It definitely is. And now we have another button shove here. Is Herzbaz going to make the call? No. So a lot of these aggressive plays in position are working right now. Perhaps players getting a little tight, sensing that final table is near.
And that's something that's going to happen a lot. And you'll see in online and live tournaments everywhere, you'll kind of see the chip leaders pull away from the rest of the pack because everyone else is so desperate to make that final table. I mean, no place is that more obvious than the WSOP main event, right? You see these runaway chip leaders, and then everyone else kind of like gets down to 10 big blinds because it's so crucial to make that final table.
Yeah, and putting pressure on their opponents just doesn't cost them as much as losing that big hand would to the short stacked opponent. So there is a bit of a dynamic there, and you will often see a big stack player go ahead and I hate to use the expression, but bully the table. I mean, that's what happens very often. So here we have a limp on the button, just calling the 35. from Hers Boss. Ace Queen 5 here on the flop, rainbow. Hoops Turkey. Checks it back over. These ladies are making their decisions relatively quickly.
Which I like to see. You know, I do think that you always want to make sure you give yourself enough time, right? That you don't want to feel pressured into being rushed by someone else. You can dictate your own pace, and you should. But when you're acting quickly and confidently, that is a fun place to be. You're getting to see more hands. You know what you're doing. You've thought a step ahead. So I like to see that.
For sure. And these blinds are going up fast. As you've noticed, now it's 40,000 for the big blind. So we really don't have time to deliberate too long if we want to be able to get any play in with the remaining players here. So we have a minimum raise on the button by Morgan U96.
And guys,
Jack 5-3.
I must jump in because waiting in the wings and in shortly, Vanessa will be joining us momentarily, and she's going to bring in some people, hopefully, that are excited to listen to her talk about her big win and watch this tournament with us. So she will be dropping in. It's like a mystery, you know. She's just going to drop in at any moment and surprise us. And there she is. There she is, right there.
I see. Yeah, she's popping up on my screen now too. All right, so we want to welcome to the program the recent winner of the PokerStars Sunday Million, Vanessa Kade. Vanessa, congratulations.
Is she on video?
She might be getting there. Oh, hold on. I hear. Might be working on it. That's okay. I can't say. We've never had technical issues.
You know, when you're doing a live stream on the fly, things do happen.
It's
so
building anticipation. You know, it's like, is she actually there? It's like,
there she is. It's the recent winner of the PokerStars Sunday Million joining us. A little bit blurry, but I can see you, Vanessa. It's Vanessa Kade. Hello, and welcome to the stream as she jumps off her chair.
And it's now Vanessa's chair. We're going to auction this off on eBay, like celebrity apparel. Do I hear $500 for the?
I would definitely pay for $500 if that's the chair she was sitting in when she won the Sunday Million.
Oh, that's fun.
And I wonder, like, do you remember where you were, how you were sitting, what you ate that day, what you were wearing? Are you well, I'll. Oh, she's back.
Oh.
But still blurry.
She's back and she's blurry, but I can see, even through the blur, I can see the big smile on her face because she is still counting all that money that she won last weekend.
Well, your hand, I think it's the focus of your camera, Vanessa. I think it's the focus.
I did this yesterday for about 10 minutes again. I'm gonna just
because your hand is in focus.
Yeah, I know. It's like clearly trying to focus on something there. I'm just going to stop and restart it. I can hear you at least now.
Oh, wait. There we go. Yes. Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right. So we have never met officially, Vanessa, but I know who you are. I have been following you. I have actually been quite inspired by you as of recent because you say the things that I'm thinking. And I think a lot of women probably feel that way. And I just think it takes, I think it takes so much courage, especially like as you've dealt with potential financial fallouts of speaking your mind and standing up for what you believe in. I don't think that's really easy to do. And I just have so much respect and admiration for you. So I'm so glad to meet you. And my first question is, how good does it feel?
Yeah, pretty good. Honestly, it still hasn't sunk in yet for me. It really hasn't, because I've just been now kind of just trying to do as many podcasts and conversations as I can. I just feel like potentially we could roll this into making things better and more welcoming and maybe getting more women in the game or something like that. So I kind of didn't want to just immediately hibernate and drop off the face of the earth, even though
I have multiple houses all over the world. Well, for those of you that don't know, and you must be living under a rock, Vanessa Kade took down $1.5 million in a special Sunday Million anniversary tournament by PokerStars. I think it's one of the largest, if not the largest, one of the largest Sunday Millions ever run. And I think when asked on Twitter if she was going to sell her action at some point where her equity must have been hundreds of thousands, she said, "No, I'm going to feel the rush," and then was instantly rewarded with the first place. Fortune favors the bold. That's the saying, right? So that is so cool. But this is not your first foray into tournament poker. You have been streaming, crushing online for quite a while, and I bet that feels just so validating and just so nice to have. I just like totally identify with your experience, and that's so great. So can you tell us, if people want to watch, because that must be just thrilling to watch your whole performance at that final table. Is there a stream somewhere? Can we watch that?
There's a PokerStars Cards Up stream. There isn't one from me. I had originally said if we got deep in this, I'm going to stream it. And then kind of as we got closer and it's sinking in, like, hey, there's 65 people left now. I'm starting to get nervous a little bit in the last level. And there's like $1.5 million for first place. I have a decent stack. Like, I could actually have a shot at this. Maybe I shouldn't stream. Because you stream and like sometimes technical things go wrong. You get distracted with that, or somebody says something really nasty in chat and it changes your mood and distracts you and stuff. And I'm just like, this might be too big of a spot to do this. And I'm like already nervous just playing it like in complete isolation with like no distractions. So I think adding anything was probably just going to be a bad idea. But instead, like, as soon as we got down to the final three, I'm like, hey, like, no matter what happens now, this is like $700,000 locked up. Like, it's amazing. I can't complain no matter what. So I put out a tweet that basically said, regardless of what happens after this, like immediately after this finishes, I'm just going to get on a stream and we're just going to get really drunk. So I'm trying to kind of compensate by like, adding something in at least.
Butterfly effect. Obviously, that was a good decision to not stream.
Right.
So as you know, Poker Powher is sponsoring this tournament today. Its entire movement to try to get 1 million women to play poker, equip them with all these amazing skills that poker teaches to equip you with better decision making. And one of the things we talk a lot about in our Poker Powher lessons is how to be more aggressive, how to kind of overcome this risk aversion that's kind of built into all of us. And I think that it's really inspirational. Not only did you not sell action towards the final table, but you were very aggressive and crushed. Was there anything at that final table where you thought I should tighten up, lock in the money, ladder up, or were you fearless and eyeing the gold from the moment you started that? And how did you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, it kind of really wasn't either. I've played a lot of online poker, and in these smaller fields, smaller relative to this, I do hit final tables relatively often, and so I've been in these spots.
Fresh that.
I'm just trying to tell myself, like, okay, this is no different than like I've been in this spot like 100 times. I just play the same. Don't clam up and like not play the cards I'm supposed to, or you still gotta take like the bluff spots and I don't know, as many of the like smart risks as you can. I guess I just tried to not think about the money and just play my game.
I hope every woman is paying attention to that, because that is such valuable advice on how to play poker. Were there any spots where you were second guessing yourself or doubting yourself, or like worried that someone was trying to take advantage of you or run you over?
Not me personally. I think we have a tendency maybe, and maybe less online because, people don't necessarily know if we're female or not. But at least in live poker, I think sometimes we have a tendency to like overestimate how much somebody may be gunning for us. And it's not like always, sometimes it's true, but the thing is usually you can tell like who those people are, because like in the environment I used to play in, for example, for like 5 years, the huge roided out guys who were like hyper aggressive trying to be super macho at the table, those are the guys who are probably like just think they can like power bet you off spots. But like the average poker player, they're not thinking about that. Like they're actually probably scared that you have it all the time. So I don't think about that too much, especially not online. Like I'm not even sure if those guys knew, if they were watching the PokerStars coverage, they would have known who I was. But you can't tell from my avatar or my name or anything like that. So
And
I
even
don't-
if you can,
What's
cutie
that?
pie 1, 2, 3, or like the princess 8 is not almost never a girl. So
Yeah, usually the people who use those names are intentionally trying to seem like a girl, and it is almost never a girl. So
I remember earlier on in my career, like kind of I had to have another player give me a bit of a talking to. They were like, listen, people aren't trying to bluff you. I'd be in a spot where I would be, knowing I should fold. This guy had no reason to bluff me. The range included extremely few bluffs. Like there was almost no reason, but then my mind would latch on to like, but what if he's just trying to push me around with one of these X factor hands? And I'd find myself like moving my chips to the front. My friend had to be like, Melanie, nobody's trying to run you over. Like they're not doing this. Like you don't need to assert yourself that way. And I remember when I had that talk, it was very freeing then to go and play without having to be worried about that constantly. So I'm so glad to hear you say that. What's next for you? Can you top that?
I mean, I already had plans to go to WPT in Florida because I just really love live poker. It's been a really long time. I've been cooped up in my apartment trying to be responsible, and I'm just seeing all the live poker that you guys are getting to play in the States there. And I really wanted to hop into some of those. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing in a couple weeks from now. And maybe go to Mexico for a little bit while I'm, out of the cage and spend like a month streaming from there or something. That's
cool.
what I'm thinking.
Well, winners keep winning. So if you now go into the live circuit, I'm sure a title won't be far away. Well, this tournament is to celebrate women, and I know there's a lot of women watching. What would your hope be for women to take away from your whole experience, your Twitter battles, the way you've handled yourself, and the way karma has dealt you? I mean, even when you think about it, like the butterfly effect, if that whole thing hadn't happened, you wouldn't have won this as well. So it's just so amazing. What are you kind of hoping that people, especially women, will take away from your story? Women maybe who are playing poker, who are thinking about playing poker, maybe who were playing poker and then left because it was just too much to deal with.
I mean, there's a number of things that, I hope if like everything was ideal that maybe something could come of this, but I'd hope that like the environment could maybe like our poker environment could get a little bit better, like slightly less hostile for new players. Definitely, sorry, I'm just drawing a blank. You see, you're asking what I want women to be able to get out of this, basically. So definitely that you can do this for sure. And actually one of the main things I was thinking of was that I had a lot of opinions about this stuff for a long time because I played probably 5
for like $10 more million. Make this a drop in the bucket. I was just thinking about how much fun that would be. Can I keep asking things, Clayton, or how are we doing with the stream?
Yeah. So we are down to the final table right now, but we are having a perfectly timed technical issue with bringing you that final table. So that means we
have one more
question. A few more minutes here. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I think something really, when people are at the top of their game, I find it so interesting to ask like what their outlook, routine, like what does their day look like? Because the way you become, one of the ways you become successful is by emulating habits of other people that are successful. It's a direct route to that. So I'd love to know what a day in the life looks like for you, how you study, how you play, what your thoughts are.
Well, about like emulating other people, I 100% did that. In fact, that's exactly what I spent the last basically 6 months, more than that, trying to do. For the last 2 years even, I've talked to like as many kind of top tier pros as I can, just getting little bits of advice on like, like what do you do with this kind of thing? What do you do for mindset stuff? Like, what do you think about this? And like, what do you do for routine? Like all these kinds of same questions. And just to see like what the common trend is in a lot of cases and like try to pick up as much of that as possible. But for me right now, I mean, I actually basically kind of stopped everything back in like November-ish, December, and just did like a total reset. I stopped playing online for a little bit. I decided I was going to just like completely reset everything, where like I've never had good diet habits. I've never had good exercise habits. I was going to start with like some basic, like get a decent amount of sleep. We're going to like eat proper meals, go to the gym, get into like a good routine, and then start adding like some poker and like other things back in on top. So I spent like maybe a month and a half or 2 months like doing nothing else but like reducing the amount of time, for example, it took me to get through a workout because I was new to like a lot of the exercise, and it was very time consuming in the beginning. And once that was down to like an hour and a half, then I could start adding things back in. But I basically rebuilt it from scratch just to try to get into a routine, which I've never had. And then I was playing games, and I would just kind of, as I was playing them, I'd send like hands to a couple crushers that I tracked down. Also, like we were talking about, finding people who are already good at it. Basically what I did is while I was playing for like 6 months, I would shark scope all of the people. If you don't know what shark scope is, you can basically look up the success rate, somebody's win rate on this website for those listening. And I would look up people and see like how well they'd done. And I would look for like really nice graphs where it was like just a steady win rate in specifically the fields I was playing. And then I would find out who that player was, and I would message them and be like, hey, you want to do coaching? and I basically tried this with a number of players, because I just found the people who were playing the games that I wanted to be beating, and they were beating them already. And I wanted to talk to them about like, have them see my hands and tell me how I should be playing differently to get the same results they're getting. So I spent a lot of time doing that. I got told no by a number of people. And then you find eventually somebody who's like, yeah, okay, I'll help you, which is really nice. And like, if you want to pay them, coaching fees can be pretty expensive. If you have the money to do that, you can find that much easier. If you don't, you can usually find somebody who's willing to be nice and help you. It might just take a while. So I started playing a little bit more. I would send hand history reviews to these guys on Skype, on WhatsApp and stuff, and just be like, what about this spot? And I would send the same hand to like multiple of them just to see if the answer is consistent, and like,
nice.
Because that's even like nicer to see like you're getting multiple perspectives, and like most of the time they'd agree, but sometimes they'd not. And then you can like think about it 2 different ways. And so like I was just getting as much info as possible. If there were ever spots they didn't know, because they don't know everything either. Like there's so many like billions of permutations of how things can play out that sometimes there's like 2 ways that are equally good. And it's not really very clear. So when we had scenarios like that, I would run them through Powher, which is like a program that can like solve for like all of these potential outcomes and give you what's probably ideal. And then just look at all of those scenarios as much as possible. So I spent about the last 6 months or so basically just doing that. And I was still not playing that much because I was spending time still getting used to the gym routine and like working more actual play back in and stuff. So, I mean, I was playing a couple days a week for a lot of it. And then I only just started ramping it back up with having announced my sponsorship, because I knew that I was going to be streaming in shortly. So I did like 3 sessions in a row. It was the first time I played 3 days in a row in quite a while. And the first day I only played like 2 or 3 tournaments. And this was like after I had spent a lot of time studying, and I just hit like 6 final tables in 3 days. And then the next day was a Sunday Million. So 7 final tables.
Wow.
4 days, or however you want to count that, I guess. And like one of them's a 1.5 million score. So obviously I'm feeling pretty good about like the way it's all played out. And like you said, I thought about like if any one of these factors, like there's just so many thousands of factors, and like the amount of things that have to go exactly right for it to end up this way is just mind blowing.
I know.
This would not be a thing. Like I would have gone out unnotably in 7,000th place for a min cash, and like that would have been it, or whatever. You never know, right?
Well,
Yeah,
the timing was perfect. It's
So
Women's History Month, and you won the Sunday Million. We are now back up on our final table here. We are down to 7 players. So if we can get some parting thoughts from you, Vanessa, and congratulations again on your unbelievable performance in the Sunday Million here on PokerStars.
Thank you.
We could really talk to you for hours. I have so many questions, but hopefully I will see you at the WSOP and we can have dinner or something like that.
By the way,
So.
you said you knew who I was and all that. I know who you are, of course, too, by the way.
Oh, well, that just made my day.
Of course, I've known you for years. So
It's been really fun. It's been really fun to follow you. And I always, because I was back on the scene like in like 2010, and there were like 2 women. You know, there was Annette, who had already like kind of retired from her WSOPE win, and I think Liv, she hadn't had her title yet, and there were just like no women at all. And I remember people always ask me like, what are you hoping, like, inspire women? I'm just like, I really hope more smart women play the game. Like I really just think there's so much opportunity here. It's been really fun to kind of see the people coming up and the caliber of their play and their intellect. It's really inspiring. Like I've been kind of moving away from full-time play and doing, you know, still playing, but doing like coaching and other stuff. But like when I see somebody like you, how they speak, how they act, like, I mean, using your time bank at the final table, I'm just like so inspired by the level of sportsmanship. Truly, like that's excellence at the highest tier. And that is inspirational to me. So I just love to see it.
Oh, it's so nice of you. I honestly did that and didn't think about it again. And then people were talking about it. I'm like, well, yeah, we're playing for like $1 million pay jump. What are you going to do? Be like, I'm glad this guy disconnected. Let's, like, you know.
For those of you who don't know, Vanessa was 3-handed, and somebody, I guess I think like the person who was the most aggressive, right, at your final table, disconnected. And Vanessa would have been the person to benefit the most from the action going faster. And instead, and I mean, there would have been no penalty for her to do that. That's perfectly within her rights to act as quickly as she could. But instead, she used her time bank to wait for this person to come back, which is, I think, a very good show of sportsmanship and is just inspirational to me. So I don't know if a lot of people that move, you know, the time banking could have been hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity, that one move. And a lot of people, I think would think about themselves in that moment and how they can do better in the tournament. I mean, right, Clayton? I think that's a pretty big deal.
Absolutely. It was just an excellent, classy thing that she did there. Just not wasting the, not seizing the opportunity to sort of just start stealing willy-nilly just because somebody had a technical problem. And again, our technical problem is solved, and we now have a full view of our final table here. We've lost 2 players. In 9th place, we had Marjo, who finished in 9th place, and we also had OC Hamster, went out in 8th place. I hope I got those names right. And just a moment after we say goodbye to Vanessa, we're going to have Alec tell us again what those prizes for 9th and 8th place are. Vanessa, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vanessa. Maybe we can chat with you more on our poker platform, because we have so many women who I think would love to hear your story and become more involved. So we'll talk to you soon.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, thanks so much. Bye.
Vanessa Kade, recent winner of the Sunday Million here on Poker Stars. And now getting back to this tournament, which is the No Limit tournament, Poker Powher in cooperation with World College Poker. And Melanie, I have to say, I thought you did a phenomenal job interviewing.
I was going to ask, should I change my career to professional reporter?
Yeah, guys, I was going to say, we, the action been moving just so quick here that we wanted to make sure we got everybody in and all the prizes in. So in 10th place, we had more 83, and we were nice enough, by the way. You know, we didn't want to just limit all the great prizes to the final table. We want to make sure that we gave everybody else a little bit of love. So the 10th place finisher gets a 1-hour psychic astrology session. Psychic astrology, yes. To the player knocked out in the final table bubble, courtesy of the Aquarian Bookshop. That's a $900 value. John J. Oliver is one of the leading psychics and star of Court TV's Haunting Evidence. And then, I mean, now that we're at the final table, guys, everybody at this final table has already won so many things. I mean, we've had so many just gracious sponsors, partners, donators. Bill Perkins is going to give a copy of his best-selling book autographed to every final table participant. That's called Die with Zero. Suited Poker Gear is getting swag. Everybody's getting a Poker Star swag bag. The top 5 finishers, they're getting something from Poker Coaching. I mean, you can go down the line, my goodness, and we're not even there. We're closing in on those main event winners giving free 1-hour Zoom lessons. You've got Alex Fitzgerald to the 6th place winner, and we just had the elimination there in 7th. So the next person eliminated guaranteed that Zoom lesson with Alex Fitzgerald. and Women Poker Association. Again, swag bag. I mean, it's up and down the table, and all these people will be back thanks to Poker Powher. I know Melanie will be involved with that for a food and beverage filled night virtual event. They get to bring a female guest, gameplay tips, a little bit of talking. And Xuan Lu is also going to be with that. She's been really holding it down in our Twitch chat, and we thank her for being around through our little bit of a tech issue. But like I said, and the winner, we didn't even get to the winner yet. The winner gets that lesson with Jonathan Little and an engraved trophy presented by our just awesome sponsors, the people who are powering this tournament with us, PokerStars.net. That engraved trophy to the winner, guys.
Alec, we lost 2 players while you were listing the prizes. That's how fast things are moving here at this final table. We are down to 5 players, and we had 7 when you started your spiel. So, yeah, we have so many wonderful sponsors, and I'm just so impressed with everyone's generosity, you know, from Bill Perkins, Jonathan Little, Alex Fitzgerald, on and on and on. I don't want to start naming everybody because I'm bound to forget 1 or 2 of them, but and certainly Melanie, you are also volunteering your time and hosting what sounds to me like it's going to be a really fun night.
It is going to be really fun. If I do so, I think Xuan and I have a nice report. We think about the game a little bit differently, which I think is always really interesting to kind of have that dialogue. And it's just going to be a fun party, some strategy, some talk about the life and the tour and all that stuff. So it's going to be a really good time. And for those of you who are watching and maybe are looking to learn poker, we have free poker lessons on pokerpower.com. You just can sign up for our basic course, and you will meet with our ladies once a week, and we will walk you through the basics of poker and also the applications of poker to decision making in real life. So if you are watching this and thinking that you want to get involved, please join us at pokerpower.com.
Is that ladies only, Melanie?
It is ladies only for the classes, I believe, but we always want to have our male allies involved in many different ways. So you can also reach out to us as well.
Absolutely. I will be doing that. I want to come to one of your poker parties. Sounds like a good time.
You are more than welcome. And maybe we'll have something that we do. That would be great. Do we go on a break now for a stream or not, or we're just...
Yeah, we'll go on a little bit of a break since we've been going for a while. Let's everybody get a little bit of a stretch. We'll keep the table up, and we're going to come back with the final 5 players. And folks, people are getting Zoom lessons for main event champions now. That's guaranteed. So you don't want to miss this. Come on back for the final 5. Welcome back, everybody, to the first of its kind, No Limits Global Women's Poker Tournament. We're down to 5, and like I said after the break, this is where it gets serious. Some Zoom lessons with main event champions on the line. Jonathan Little, all the sort, and that engraved trophy, thanks to Poker Stars coming in now. Here to recap the rest of it, it's Melanie Weisner and Clayton Fletcher.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed your break. And we are down to the final 5 here. Melanie, we've got our chip leader involved in a pot here, Safari Girl 2020 versus Shadwell 74. The action has been fast and furious. Rock'em sock'em robots, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody trying to claw their way to the top of the leaderboard here. It's a good time.
Melanie adjusting to get the
As
perfect
Alec mentioned,
lighting.
we have some.
Sunlight's just
Yeah, she's got.
square in the face. There we go.
Yeah.
Who's your money on
Let
here,
the
Clayton?
sun shine in. It's just when the blinds are this big and the stacks are this small, it's really anybody's game. What I have observed at this final table is that Safari Girl 2020, who is our chip leader, is probably maybe a tad more aggressive than the other players at this point, but it's hard to say because we don't actually know what everyone has at all times. It could just be that she's had more than her share of strong hands, but it does appear that she is really taking the bull by the horns and going for it. What about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't want to be boring and pick the same person that you do. So I'm gonna go. Is Morgan you, the girl we were talking about from the other table?
Same one.
I'm gonna
Yes,
go with
yes, it
Morgan.
is.
I'm gonna go with Morgan. She's clearly survived. She understands what she's doing. She is aggressive. She is gonna need a double up. But if this was Vegas and the odds were good enough, I would definitely take her. Don't think.
Yeah, it's always more fun to bet the long shot, right? The short stack.
Take the short.
I love it. That's cool. Yeah, we saw Morgan in another table earlier in this event where she was the short stack, the shortest of the stacks at her table, and she eventually got up to about average. Right now, she finds herself in a similar position with 5 players left in this free roll, the Poker Powher Women's Global Poker Tournament. We call it the No Limits event, first of its kind. They're all winners at this point. Amazing prizes left for each and every one of them. Our top 5 out of over 300 entries in this free roll. Women only eligible to compete. And I would say it's been quite an event and a tremendous success. So congratulations to our friends at Poker Powher and, of course, World College Poker for putting this together.
Yes, and right before we go, I do want to get in. Xuan Lu has been hanging out, watching the Twitch chat, and we're going to try and get her in to talk a little bit more about Poker Powher and just recapping this 2-week stretch, just promoting this event and getting all excited and actually getting to the big day. So she's going to come in here at the end of our final table.
Looking forward to speaking with Xuan. She is a amazing poker ambassador, and I think, Melanie, I can speak for both of us when I say that we're just enamored with and impressed with Xuan and all that she does and all that she represents.
Xuan is a legend of the game. If you ever try to search for videos of her online, which I've been doing to use some of her hands for examples to teach our women, she is always involved in this like just beast of bluff every time. Like, you think women are like conservative and meek at the table. Xuan is the antithesis of that. She is always putting maximum pressure on her opponents. Actually, once when I haven't gotten a lot of chance to play with her live, but the last time that I was playing with her was in a WSOP event where she also tried to bluff me. She was directly next to me. She is just unbelievably relentless and very tough to play against. And it's always a pleasure to have her around.
And you couldn't pick up what she was doing based on which chips she reached for.
Certainly,
she didn't have those
certainly
tells.
not. I was actually quite lucky that I happened to have it when she was trying to run her bluff. Otherwise, I would have probably lost the hand. But now when I think back on it, she was just like, "Oh, why did you have to like something, or that was supposed to work, or whatever." I'd have the hand, but it was
Chuan Lu always in beast mode, as far as I know.
Always nonstop.
Yeah.
You'll never find a video of her just like making a nitty fold or just like that. You know, the whole thing we were talking about with Vanessa, like not always wanting to think your opponents are running you over. Chuan is always trying to run you over. So maximum aggression, which is what we love to teach. She is a great example of that.
Schwan in the chat is like, "Oh God, please no."
Well, you know, the difference between a great bluff and a total spew is I call. That's the only difference.
I love that. I love players who are fearless at the table, and that is
it's winning poker, and it's fun to watch. No,
really fun to watch. And my girl is all in.
Yeah,
let's go,
Morgan has re-raised all in, and now she's up against 7-6.
Oh, it's a hold.
Yeah, I think it's a done deal. And unfortunately for Shadwell, she will be our 5th place finisher. And fortunately for Morgan and for her biggest fan, Melanie Weisner, Morgan has doubled up here, more than doubled up, and now finds herself in 2nd place with just 4 remaining.
Right, guys. And Alex Fitzgerald, by the way, is the 6th place finisher. We also have some great stuff. Odd Nova Energy supplied some superfood honey blends, or $80 value. Sounds very good. To 6th, 5th, and 4th place. And like I said, the finisher there, Shadwell, is going to have a 1-hour conversation with Greg Raymer. Legendary snake eyes glasses. That's always what I picture. So congratulations to Shadwell. And, of course, part of the event that Poker Powher will put on later on. So
and we
congratulations.
also want to thank the Women's Poker Association for that lovely prize of the 1-on-1 with Linda.
Yes.
Legendary.
That's for 2nd place. And also, Poker League of Nations was also been involved in this and helping us promote. A shout out to them. We're checking off all the boxes. We've had a huge just army of people behind us for this tournament. So again, thanks to everybody.
Yeah, this endeavor has been a lot of fun to be involved with. It just seems like the timing for an amazing all-women's tournament like this one, International Women's Day International Poker Tournament, it just seemed like everything just fell into place. And I can't believe some of these prizes, to be able to sit down and talk poker with the 2004 main event champion, Greg Fossilman Raymer, basically a legend of the game. From all the way back in the early days of 2+2. Still going strong, playing tons of poker even now. Greg Raymer. So it's very nice of him, former world champion, to volunteer his time as well. As we see heads up in the blinds here, 7-6-6 on the flop. And Ruthie gets out of the way. I imagine now that it's down to the nitty-gritty with the final 4, we might see a little bit of this kind of dinking and dunking, little jab here, maybe not the haymaker right on cue. Ruthie limping here on the button. 3-way pot, 10-7-5 on the flop, and it checks over to Ruthie, who has some sort of bird. So we've got a bird, we've got a frog, we've got a lion, and we've got what's probably a picture of Morgan.
And I like this bet because this is the kind of flop that's just going to go one of these pots that's uncontested a lot. The person who's the most aggressive is going to win. Nothing super connected, no face cards. I like that play from Ruthie. Big shove. Big shove.
Yeah, not sure that Fly Girl wanted action there with the big all-in.
And my girl with a nice sized raise from the small blind, huge pot. I love it. I love that little bet. Oh, Morgan, you're doing it for me. Interesting check. You think she's setting a trap?
now. We'll see. Half the pot here, but Morgan has very few chips remaining. If she makes the call, it's pretty much an all-in or fold in her shoes, and she does fold. And now is once again the short stack at this table. We shall see as Ruthie now with a commanding 2-1 chip lead over the second place stack. Another blind versus blind. We have a double paired board. It's very unlikely that either player has anything at this point, given that there are only 2 10s and 2 6s, no draws available.
Overbet. An overbet here on the turn.
Yeah.
Oh, and a call.
And a call. What do I know? I guess they both have something. All right. Could it be ace high? Melanie, do you think it could be ace high here? Oh, wow. Look at this.
I think she has the 10. Oh, God.
A 10 and a 6.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. No. What a way to go out. Fly Girl, our 4th place finisher on a flop that looks so safe for everybody. 10-10, 6-6 on the board, and each player with a full house. That is just brutal with 4 players left. Wow.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
Easy call.
Yeah,
easy
it's just easy. Just easy.
Nothing's better when you're holding the best full house and your opponent goes all in.
Yeah, not too much to think about there with a 10.
And guys,
when things got hot and heavy, I started to think, I'll bet it's not ace high. So there.
Yeah, probably not when you're going all in and four-handed. By the way, again, even though that hurts, that's a bad cooler. 4th place. Still getting lots of stuff. Again, for 4th place, getting a chance to talk to Chris Moneymaker, that's not a bad 4th place. That's a pretty great 4th place, along with lots of other prizes and a couple that I didn't mention, by the way. We're still getting around, like I said. James Splitsuit Sweeney from Red Chip Poker. You're getting a pre-flop workbook from him. That Odd Nova Energy Superfood. And everybody at the final table is also getting a $50 Run Good Gear gift certificate.
Let's get free.
Oh, man, there we go.
Sorry,
and now we're heads up.
Now we're heads up as Morgan put on a good show for us, but she busted out in 3rd place. Now we're heads up. 7 million chips versus 2 million chips, but it's still anyone's game.
And heads up is where you're really going to see the aggression come through because the blinds go around every hand. So you can't just keep folding your small blind, your big blind. You have to be willing to play more hands. So we'll see who is going to adjust best to this. Ruthie is in a nice commanding position here, but it could definitely be anyone's game. I've seen people come back from 10-1 chip leads. So
sure.
Yeah.
It happens. All they have to do is decimate 10% at a time. See, you get to enjoy some poker. You get to have a nice interview with Vanessa Kade and vocabulary words, too. So we do it all here.
We do it all.
So we saw a limp here from Ruthie on the button and then a raise from the big blind Safari Girl, who is pretty short stacked at this point, but does get called. Queen 10-6 on the flop. Safari Girl was the last aggressor. Pre-flop bets half the pot here on the flop, and Ruthie is not leaving yet.
What a turn. So dynamic.
Yeah, pairing the board, putting 3 hearts out there, and now, oh, wow.
Wow.
Seems like everything is going Ruthie's way at this final table. It just might be her day.
And wow, and we have the all in and the call. Wow, and it's a coin flip. Wow. And as you can see, Ruthie was drawing to just 1 out on the river since the 2 of diamonds would have made her opponent's flush. And Safari Girl's back in it.
Yeah. Another all in.
Wow.
Ruthie doesn't want to have anything to do with that one. No, thank you. So Safari Girl, who I mentioned when we first got to this final table, I noticed was one of the more aggressive women remaining in the tournament, and she has been true to form, I would say. So far, she tries to battle and get back in this match. almost a 3-1 chip lead here for Ruthie 180. Second time we've seen a limp followed by a raise. This time Ruthie surrenders. Safari Girl says, I don't like to limp on the button. I like to raise it up. 5 tray, another one of those flops that's unlikely to hit anyone. Although last time I said that, everybody had a full house.
And we know from the full house hand that Ruthie, when she leads out, she definitely can have something. Usually you think that the lead can be kind of weak because if you had something, you would check and let your opponent bet for you. But with Ruthie, it's a little more, whoa, and here we go. Let's see if Ruthie has it this time.
Is this it? Could this be it?
Oh.
No, a fold. And now we have a ball game.
Ew.
Stacks much more even than they were just 1 minute ago.
Hmm?
I like cards down. It's fun. Just have to guess what they have. Queen 9-7,
Well,
fairly wet board here.
I like cards up, but I'm a pure.
That's fair.
I think, the popularity of chess with Queen's Gambit and so on is because just like poker found a way to make it a really engaging spectator sport with the cards up, so did they. I think with like the boards where they were moving the pieces and all that stuff, it's tough to do with these mental sports, And I think they found it, and it was just so engaging to watch every match in that show.
Yeah, that show is pretty much a masterpiece. I understand they might have a second season, which would be interesting. Like, where do we go from here?
I thought it was I totally understand if they want to make a second, but I thought it was such a nice, like, well-contained story.
Yeah, it feels over, but as we've seen from other series, if there's money to be made, why not turn it into a whole thing? There's always another direction you can go as a storyteller. So we'll see what happens. Maybe, yeah, or maybe the second season she gets into poker.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, if you really want to follow the life story of Jen Shahade.
The blinds
win
are
everything
huge.
in chess and then get really good at poker. Yeah, we're just looking for the one spot, Melanie, right, where there's just both players have a good enough hand to shove all in and then
Yeah,
see who
and that's
wins.
the case with all in because the minimum threshold that you need to be good is going to be much lower with only 2 hands being dealt than a full table of 9 hands being dealt. And that it lessens and lessens as you have fewer and fewer players. And that just means that if you have, let's say you can go with 20% of your hands rather than 8% of your hands or more in some situations, that means there's just going to be more all-in confrontations. Any pair is good. Any ace is good. Some kings, some queens, some jacks, like so many hands are going to be good in this spot.
King 5 here on the flop.
Her stack with Safari Girl's stack, she's going to want to go with way more hands than 20%. She's going to want to be
sure.
She's going to want to be shoving a lot. And Ruthie's going to be forced to pick up a hand to call her, which is nice when you can pick up those pots when your opponent has to be dealt a hand because they're just not going to be dealt a phenomenal hand often.
Yeah, and as you can see, pre-flop, there's 350,000 already in the middle before anything happens. And with Safari Girl having less than 3 million in her stack, just stealing the blinds and antes is a really nice win for her. Wow. Here's an over bet all in on Jack Tray. It gets through.
He called Ruthie's 4x raise and then just let out on Jack 3-3 saying, I don't think you have any of this. And she was right.
It's pretty gangsta. King 10-6 with 2 spades. Another lead from Ruthie gets the pot. Blinds going up in less than 2 minutes. I'm actually surprised this heads-up battle lasted this long.
Right. I mean, yeah, considering how quick this final table has gone, I think we finally get a little bit of a treat, a few hands, a battle back and forth.
For sure. 10, 9, 8, extremely wet. Flop hits a lot of hands. Queen of spades on the turn. Now any jack has a straight. Action on Ruthie. What does she want to do here? You want to represent that jack? Do you have a jack?
Ruthie has shown so far that she is willing to take a stab when her opponent shows weakness, which is the golden rule for bluffing, right? When your opponent shows weakness and you don't have anything, that's a good opportunity for you to take it down. Ooh.
And a 3-bet and a call. Queen 10-9 with 2 clubs.
This is gonna get a call from lots of stuff.
All in and call. Pair of queens
there
against no pair.
Oh,
there it is.
And our match has ended. Your champion, Ruthie 180, wins the tournament. Congratulations on your first place prize. And congratulations, of course, to Safari Girl as well for her second place finish. Alec, tell them what they've won.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. The winner has just received an engraved Poker Stars trophy. I mean, you know, those are reserved, and the people that have won Poker Stars trophies, the best in the world. And winner right there is going to go home with it. Ruthie, you're getting your own Poker Stars trophy. That is awesome. That is an incredible victory. Second place, by the way, before we get to down the list of what first place has won, also getting a free 1-hour Zoom coaching session. Lovely person, Linda Johnson, has offered her time to the second place finisher. So Safari Girl 2020, even though they lost the heads up, you're going to get a chance to meet with Linda Johnson. And that can't be a bad day when you get a chance to meet with Linda Johnson.
Linda Johnson, for those who don't know, the first lady of poker.
That's right.
She's in the Poker Hall of Fame, and she's been an ambassador for poker and for women in poker since pretty much the very first days of poker becoming recognized as a televised sport or game, however you want to call it. So yeah, Linda Johnson is no joke. So she's like an OG woman in poker. So that's pretty cool that she's going to sit down and have a nice 1-hour conversation with her. I'd love to be able to pick Linda Johnson's brain myself.
Oh, absolutely. And continuing down, again, we're not done. Second place and first place, both getting 3-month passes for Redship Poker's Pro membership. And in case you needed 2 training sites, they're also getting a 6-month poker coaching free membership as well. The top 5 actually get that. So again, how are you going to be able to carry all this, guys? Are you going to be able to carry that? You know, all these prizes people are winning? And to finish it off, too, PLO Quick Pro, like during the college event, we had those great trips, Clayton, if you remember. Well, this time around, PLO Quick Pro, third place got a $100 hotel savings card. Second place, that $300 hotel savings card. And Ruthie just won a choice between 4 days and 3 nights in Vegas or Atlantic City, or 6 days and 5 nights in Cancun, Mazatlan, or Puerto Vallarta, and $500 in a hotel savings card. So just, again, incredible prizes. Congrats to both of them. And we're going to have Schwan come in a moment. But before we do that, I want to make sure that we have Poker Powher. They have a video for us to watch, a quick 90-second on their courses and what they offer to women every day.
What if women had a seat at every table? A seat in every classroom, every interview room, every boardroom. What if women sat at every table and played a game? A game that made them strategic, decisive, resilient, analytical, influential, unapologetic, and confident. What if this game was a game changer to change the stats? To change our stories? To change the future? This game is played at a table. Flip the table. Raise the stakes. Play to win. We saved you a seat. That game is poker. And the players? They're fearless. Poker Power. Join us.
Welcome back, everybody. What a nice video. We want to welcome in a special guest. She's kind of the queen of Poker Powher, and she's a tournament crusher that we were just talking about just a few minutes ago. Please welcome Xuan Liu. How are you, Xuan?
Hi, everybody. That tournament was so fun to play and so fun to watch. You guys did an amazing job on the commentary at the final table. I can't believe we got Vanessa. Wow, what a star, right?
That was really fun. Yeah, I love. I would have liked to have like another hour with her. That would have been really
I
fun.
know. I really want to start like a Poker Power podcast, and then we can definitely get all the guests we want. You know, you or Amanda can do it because you guys are so articulate, so good at interviewing. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, my first guest would be you, Xuan, and I would ask for an insight into your thought process for all of these excellent bluffs that are online.
Oh, geez. If
Xuan always gets
lessons.
She gets shy about all the bluffs, but it's so awesome to see. It's so powerful.
You know what? A lot of them are from like 10 years ago when I was first getting into the poker world, playing tournaments, and I was experimenting a lot. And I was definitely used to playing like deeper stack. And so in like cash games, you can definitely get away with like some of the nonsense I see that I did back then, but definitely not so much anymore. I regret some of the hands, but honestly though, there isn't a ton of great footage. I've like sent Melanie some links where I actually do reasonable things and get away with it as well.
I admire most the willingness to take chance and like not be afraid to have something go wrong. I think that's really hard to execute in game. That's
Thanks.
extremely.
And
So, Xuan, this was the first No Limits Women's Global Poker Tournament free roll in honor of Women's History Month. Just kind of give us your thoughts on how this tournament came to be and, whether or not you're pleased with the outcome.
Yeah, I think it's spectacular that over 300 women came out, took time off their Saturday to play a complete free roll. You know, we put together a bunch of prizes. This is a collaboration with, PLON, with World College Poker, with so many fantastic partners. And yeah, I think we only had 3 weeks to put the whole thing together. There's going to be many more events in the future. I'm so excited. It's going to be better organized. We're going to get, fun guests, and it's just going to get better from here.
Terrific. Can you tell us a little bit more about Poker Powher for anyone watching that might not be familiar with your mission, how you go about things, and just kind of give us a little more background on the website?
Yeah, of course. Again, it's no small goal. Our founder, Jenna Just, and the entire Poker Power team, we want to teach 1 million women how to play poker. We're not trying to get them to be professional grinders or anything, but, we think there's invaluable skills that can be learned from just very basic poker gameplay. And and we want to relay that to anybody who's getting their career started, who wants to, move up in levels, anything like that. And Melanie here, she's actually in charge of the entire curriculum. And so, it's going to be good. And it's completely free to play, which is like the coolest part. It's honestly just like a huge passion project of our founder. We have our own app coming out soon. And the app's going to be focused on providing teachers with the best tools possible to teach students how to play. We're going to be able to, have all sorts of cool functions, and it's going to be, super female interface friendly. So it'll be fun.
Very cool. And of course, you're on Twitter at Poker Powher. And how else can people find more information about Poker Power and the mission of the company, et cetera?
Definitely check out our website, pokerpowher, POWHER.com. And, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and you can also just shoot any of the instructors an email, and we'll get back to you and find a slot. Hopefully, get a bunch of your girlfriends and play some poker.
Sounds like a good time. Melanie, any other questions for Xuan before we say goodbye and wrap up?
I think it's time for Ladies Poker Night to be the weekly American and other countries' pastime. We see it in the movies all the time, men's poker night, and this is the movement for Ladies Poker Night. Poker thinking is just so valuable outside of the game, and it's also a really fun game to play. So I'm just really passionate about the project. I am so thrilled to be a part of it. I am designing the curriculum, so I am deciding what people learn, which is really fun. And it's always funny to have a concept, that you have known and used and thought about for so many years, and try to teach it and be like, wait, but I need to know first what this is. And I'm like, okay, we've got to go back. So it's kind of fun trying to unpack my knowledge of so many years and distill it down to the most basic concepts, and then rebuild it from there. So it's been a really beautiful challenge to do this. And it's just so great. In my private coaching, I feel the same way. It's so wonderful to be able to share your knowledge about something and have other people feel the same aha moment that you felt in the first place. So it's a great project and great mission. So fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
a beautiful game, and
Yeah.
can't wait to share it with everybody.
Yeah. Well, Xuan, we really appreciate you taking the time to come here on the stream and talk to us a little bit. I want to thank you for being here. I want to congratulate again all of our winners, everyone that got any type of prize, whether it was a bounty or any of the top 10 finishers that all got some of those wonderful prizes that Alec was mentioning. I want to thank you also for having me back as my second time working with you guys, and I really appreciate it. And so, Melanie, any other final thoughts before we wrap up the stream here?
No, I hope that we can do this again. I want the field to top this one. I think sky's the limit. There are millions and millions of women, and I would like to get at least 1 million of them playing poker. Maybe we'll have a record-breaking tournament, a 1 million player tournament somewhere down the line.
Wow.
This was great commentating with you, Clayton. That was really, really fun. Really great to have Vanessa there, and I hope you guys all enjoyed, and reach out to us if you are inspired, want to learn poker, want to play more, and we will let you know.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
You guys that were here were just awesome. I mean, the amount of guests, having Vanessa on right after such a historic moment for her and her poker career, and just for women in general, is unbelievable. And I'm so glad that we all got to share that today together in this moment where we're making a lot of history. And I also want to, I know there are people in the chat like, hey, are you going to do an event again? What's up with World College Poker? We've got a World College Player Championship coming in July. It will be with Poker Stars. Poker Stars is sticking with us to help produce that. Look out for it in the summer. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at World College Poker or at WC Poker. And if you've got some female college students in your life, tell them, hey, July, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, there's a big tournament that there will be a lot of prizes and a lot of potential for. And we're so excited to talk more about that and announce more down the road. But thanks to everybody that's been here. Clayton, Melanie, Xuan, Vanessa, all of you at home. For all of them, it's Alec Rome saying thank you so much for watching, and view this quick message from Poker Powher, and goodbye.
What if women sat at every table and played a game? What if this game was a game changer to change the stats, to change our stories? That game is poker. And the players? They're